As you come into your seat, and you don't have to sit cross-legged. You can sit in another way that makes more sense for your body. If you want to bring any support underneath your knees, too, that is also a really great place to hang out. One leg can be long. There can be lots of different ways, okay? So find a way that works for you. Take your fingers and bring them down to the floor beside you. That's why we're not sitting on blocks, because it'd be a little too high for most of our length of our arms. So as you take your fingertips down to the ground at the sides here, press down through your fingertips. And as you press down through your fingertips, do you feel that energy around the side spaces of your chest alongside your rib cage, shoulders coming away from your ears? Now also allow that energetic downward pressure to also really feel your seat underneath you, the length along the back line of your body, and the reaching up through the crown of your head. Let your body breathe itself in through your nose and out through your nose the best that you can. I know it's allergy season, so do the best you can. Keeping that upright, vertical space. Now keep that sense of that downward attention in your seat and that upward, drawing upward intention through the crown of your head. Now take your elbows in towards your sides and turn your palms up. And so bring them into your sides and bring your palms up. And can you maintain that vertical sense of space in your own body? Notice if we take our hands away, does your breath change? Or can the amount of effort that was there with the feedback from the ground still stay present in this offering and this gesture? Rooted and aligned as we are. Allowing the breath to move the way that the breath is going to move at this point in our time together. Knowing that we're giving itself space to change, to evolve. Now, on your next breath out, fold your hands together into your center of your body and interlace your fingers. As you interlace your fingers, now turn your palms away from you and lengthen your elbows. So when you do that, now draw your chin in towards your chest, and it's like you're pressing, if you could imagine there was a wall out in front of you, you're pressing your palms out into that surface and spreading your upper back. So you get to reach now in both directions, thinking reaching front to back. On your next inhale, you're going to find your length in your spine again and reach your arms up. Now reach your arms up only to the point where your shoulders say, all right, that works for me. Anytime you need to let your hands go to give us some more space in your shoulders, please do that, okay? Yeah. And so if your hands are still interlaced, or even if they're not, still feel like your palms can reach up towards the ceiling. Let your shoulder blades glide up your back. Your shoulder blades glide up your back when your arms are over your head. Take your right arm and reach it down towards the ground. Keep your left arm in that. It's rotated inward right now, right? Because our fingertips are towards the center of our crown of our head. Now, with our right fingertips on the ground, you're going to side bend into your right side waist. So you're going to plant your right hand. Now, keep pressing through the heel of your left hand, and that is a big stretch, right? Now, let's say, just for a moment, unbend your wrist and point through your fingertips. Now your palm is still turned, right? You were still in that internal rotation of your upper arm. Now flex your wrist again. Like you're drawing the top of your hand. I know, and that changes it, doesn't it? Yeah. Now you're going to press your right hand down into the ground. Let your right arm come up. Turn your fingertips another facing one another. Now reach your left arm down. Doesn't that feel like a breath of fresh air? Anybody else get that tingling in their arm? I know. And then bend your left elbow. Crunch into your left side waist and press the heel of your right hand away from you. It's like it's pressing away from your right hip. So your right sitting bone's coming down towards the ground, but you're creating this length in your side line here. Now again, you can unbend your wrist and give your arm, and then rebend it. So now it's like you're pulling your fingernails towards the crown of your head, and then inhale, come back up. Let your left arm find each other. If you want to interlace your fingers, you can, or they can just keep pressing, whatever feels better for you. When you exhale, bring them down here in front of you. Spread your your back, chin towards your chest. Reach into your back body here. And then when you come up tall here through your spine again, bend your elbows and bring your hands back into your heart center. Whew. Anybody else get that? Like, there's a tingle. Do you feel that? I know, a little nerve, nerves through our arms, our shoulders, and our necks, okay? We're gonna do that same thing again, one more time. So interlace your fingers. Press your palms away and lengthen your elbows, chin in towards your chest, and spread your upper back. So there's also some tone here in your belly. So it's like you're reaching your whole back line behind you as you press into this imaginary wall out in front of you. On your next inhale, reach up long through your spine, reach down through your seat, let your palms come up. Again, you can always let your hands go. Okay. Right arm's gonna come down to the ground. Bend into your right elbow, bend into your right side, reach down through your left seat. Now imagine what would happen if I told you to think about your left shoulder blade, reaching away from your left hip. Did you get a little longer? And then press back up. Let your right arm find its way up. And then bring your left arm down. Press down with your left arm. So you're gonna bend your left elbow. It's like a tucking into your side here. And press. Now, instead of thinking about the palm of the hand, I'm just shortening the line a little bit. You can always think about that and coming back to the hand, but what if your right shoulder blade can reach away from your right hip? Now press through your palm. Yeah. Now bring yourself back up. Let your left arm find your right hand. Again, you can interlace your fingers or not. Press. Exhale, bring them down in front of you. Spread your upper back, chin in towards your throat. Press away into the imaginary wall out in front of you. And then come up long through your spine. Let your hands fold back into your middle. Let your hands, let your forearms, let your elbows, let all of the spaces from your neck to your shoulders down to your fingertips. Notice that energy, okay? Now bring your palms back down at your sides where we started. And can you let that energetic space that you just created, can you let it freely find its way? And maybe it stays in your palms. Maybe it feels like it draws a little upward or outward. And maybe what I'm saying is crazy talk and you're like, I have no idea, I don't have any of that. And guess what? That's okay too. Okay, it's okay too. All right, let's find our way to our hands and our knees. So as you rock forward onto your hands and your knees, if you want to use your blanket and bring it underneath your knees for a little padding, you can. If not, totally do away with it and just set it off to the side. So as you bring your hands here underneath in line-ish with your shoulders, bring your knees underneath you. And now imagine you're taking your right shoulder blade towards your right hip. So you're gonna shorten through your right side waist. And then take it the other way. Shorten through your left side waist. So it's like you're wagging your tail to the left, but I want you to pause there. I want you to actively squeeze the left side of your body, so your left shoulder blade, drawing towards your left hip. And then do that again to the right. So press into your right side body. So as you shorten your right side waist, notice how you're lengthening your left. Okay. When you exhale, now you're going to press into cat. So spread your upper back, come through the middle as you reach into your front of your body. Remember I said reach away into that imaginary wall when we were seated? Now you get the feedback from the floor. Now wag your tail to the left, draw your left shoulder blade towards your left hip, and then pass through cow. So we're creating this like barrel roll through the middle, this circle. So right shoulder, right hip, cat as you spread your back. So nice and slow. Let your head do what your head's gonna do. Don't think about that too much. Shorten your left side waist and then find cow. So extension of your spine, lifting from your sacrum, lifting up forward with your chest. And then one more time in this direction to the right, right side waist shortening, draw into your front body here as you pass in through cat, left side body shortens, and then inhale into cow. Now take it the other direction. So shorten your left side waist and then press up through cat, right sideways shortens, and then cow. Yeah. So keep going in that direction, taking those moments to really pause and feel into those side body spaces. One more time in that direction. Now, at this pace, my goodness, you could even slow it down even more. If we had more time, I probably would have you do that. So now that when you come back to it, really take your time in that space is really helpful. End and pause here in cow with extension of your spine, pressing the ground away. And then exhale into cat. So press down into the ground, press down through your shins, spread your upper back, curl under your toes. Come to a neutral spine, breathe in. So reach forward through the crown of your head. Lift up your knees and send your hips up and back for a downward facing dog. As you get into your downward facing dog, pedal around a little bit, shift a little side to side. You might take your chin a little side to side and a little up and down. Pedaling through your legs. That's it. Draw some action into your rib cage. Nothing extreme, but just drawing some attention to encourage the front line of the body, meeting and lengthening in through the back line of your body. Now, lift up your heels, breathe in. You're gonna send your your heels to the right. So as you send your heels to the right, your hip is gonna shift to the right, right? Right. And your right shoulder blade, again, it's gonna come into like that, drawing towards your right hip as you find more length into your left side of your body. Now, you can keep your palms on the ground or you can tent onto your left fingertips. You can also keep your knees bent, or if you would like, you could start to lengthen behind your knees. If you're lengthening behind your legs, your left heel might not touch the ground, and that's okay, but hike up at your left hip. Yeah, that's it. If you're on your left fingertips, plant your left hand, bend your knees if they were long, and bring your heels back through the middle, downward facing dog. Now just pause and feel the difference between the left side of your body and the right side of your body. Okay, now lift your heels again, bend your knees. Send your heels to the left. Reach up through your right hip. Shorten your left hip towards your left shoulder. Again, you could tent onto your right fingertips if you like, just kind of playing with space there and some length. Now you could keep the bend in your knees, or you can start to lengthen some here in your legs. Breathing all the way in. I think I'm frozen. Hopefully you can still hear my voice. Yeah, that's all right. There we are. And then I'm back here into the middle. Press. I know, internets. Find downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward for a plank. Lower your knees down to the ground. Now notice the length in both sides of your body here, yeah? So feel some action, again, that pressing of your hands to the ground. Feel the tone in the front of your body in order to support this shape. Can you keep the length in both sides of your body and bend at your elbows and lower all the way down to the ground? So as you find yourself, you're all the way down, spread through the tops of your feet. Like you could touch all 10 toes down to the ground. Draw your elbows back, broad across your chest. Press down through your tailbone. And when you press down through your tailbone, feel, not tailbone, your pubic bone, and you're lengthening your tailbone some towards your heels. And do you feel again how that tones the front of your body some? And then when you take your next inhale, lift up your chest, but keep anchoring through your pubic bone. Keep anchoring down through the tops of your feet. That's it. Exhale as you lower. Curl under your toes. Push away the ground as you exhale and send your hips up and back for a downward facing dog. And visit the length here. Visit the length in the sides of your body, the length in the back of your body. Can you lengthen the back of your neck even? Now take a walk to the top of your mat. So as you lift your heels and you walk your feet forward, take your time. Yeah, that's it. Take a halfway lift. Now, as you take a halfway lift, you can lift to your fingertips or you can lift your hands onto your shin bones even. If you're pressing down or with your hands at your shin bones, if you press your hands into your shin bones, can you now pull the crown of your head forward? And again, feel the tone in the front of your body there. So you're lengthening the front and the back of your body. And when you exhale, bend your knees as you hinge and you fold into yourself. Give yourself a moment here. We'll just pause. You could let your hands come to the ground. You could hold opposite elbows. You can shift a little forward and back in your feet or shimmy a little side to side, whatever feels good. Whatever helps you get some of the wiggles out. One more moment here. Bend your knees generously so you really feel grounded and reaching down through your feet and begin to climb all the way up to come up here into stand. Let your arms drift up over your head. And then exhale, pause your hands down in front of your heart. Release your hands at your sides. Take a moment here, just finding vertical. Now, take your right leg and bring it behind your left ankle, your left heel. So your left leg is in front here. Now let's say in that crisscross shape of your legs, that is a space where you feel really, really wobbly and you want to keep your feet more in parallel. You can absolutely do that. You can absolutely do that. Or you can crisscross your ankles here. Okay. Inhale, reach up through your right arm. And your left arm is going to stay at your sides. I'm just going to turn this way. You're going to let your left arm press down into your left leg and side bend to the left. So you're sending your hips a little bit to the right, but think more about sending your right side of your rib cage to the right. You can always also bring your hand to the back of your head, and sometimes that just plays with a different space. Yeah. If your arm is up over your head, reach your right shoulder blade away from your right hip. Now, flex your wrist. So draw the back of your hand. So now your fingertips are facing the opposite direction that they were last time. Before, our fingertips were pointing towards our midline. Now they're pointing away. And you can't see it because it's cut off, but it's doing that. All right. Inhale, come up. Uncross your feet. Let your right arm come down to the side. And again, notice what this feels like, right? From your right armpit, the right side of your body, you might even feel this all the way down to your right ankle. Okay. Now cross your left ankle behind your right. Or not, right? You can do all of this work within your feet in parallel. Come. Reach your left arm up. Your right arm's going to be here at your side. Now, you could also keep your right hand at your hip, or you can slide your right arm down, and that just gives some nice feedback here into your pelvis. So instead of think about your hips going to the left, I want you to think about sending the left side of your rib cage to the left. And you're shortening through your right side waist. Yeah, so your hand can absolutely be at your hip. Or it can be alongside. Maybe your fingertips even start to come down to your knee. Again, hand can be behind your head, or it can be long. Now, flex your wrist. Yeah, I know. It's actually extending your wrist. Sorry. It's like you're drawing your fingernails towards your forearm. Yep. Now you're going to use that to pull yourself back up. So reach down through your feet. Uncross your feet. And again, just notice those spaces here, yeah? Sometimes it can feel like a tingle. Sometimes it can even have like a warmth. For some, they'll even describe even like almost like a light burning kind of sensation. Again, just notice the sensation. Does that sensation allow you some information to say, what if I lengthened both sides of my body? What if I could feel that drawing upward? If I could reach my rib cage up here away from my pelvis and find some space and length there, would that allow me to feel stronger and connected down and through my feet even, right? Because there's that pull in both directions. So give yourself a breath in here. Let your arms drift up over your head. As you exhale, take your hands through your center and fold. As you take your inhale, come into your fingertips and step your left toes back. Lower down your back knee, and this is where you might bring a block with you, okay? So as you come up here and stand on your left knee, your back toes could be curled under, or you could be on the top of your foot. Reach down through your right heel. Reach your left arm up. You're going to shorten through your right side waist, reach down through your left knee, and bring into, again, that side bend. So here's where right hand could be at your hip, right? Or right hand come down to a block. What's so great about right hand on block is then you have that sense of reaching down through your right hand more than you have so if it's at your hip. Yeah, so you just might feel it out or not, right? Now, you're going to stay in this side bend. Reach your left arm now in a diagonal line. So it's like you're reaching across to the front right edge of your mat. Now reach your your left shoulder blade away from your left hip. All right. Now you're going to pass it down in front of your face. It's like you're scooping, creating a circle. Bring your left hand down to the ground. You could always pass your block over there. Now take a twist to the right. So as you twist open at the right, you might even really feel like you're pulling your right elbow back behind you some, as your right hip also plugs back in space. Your right arm can be up at the ceiling here, or your right hand could be at your right thigh. Yeah, stay open across the left side of your chest. That's it. Exhale, square your shoulders, bring your hands down to the floor, curl under your toes, lift up your back knee, and step to the top of your mat. So as you step to the top of your mat, sometimes creating a little momentum. Yeah, just send yourself off of your back leg. Yeah, that's it. Exhale as you fold. Breathe into your back body there. It's like in this fold, because you've shortened the front side of your body so much, you have to find that space where the breath can be sent into your back. Yeah, a place where many of us forget we breathe into. Reach down through your feet, stand all the way up as you breathe in. Again, take that length down from your feet all the way up through the crown of your head, and then exhale, you pull your hands down in front of your heart. Inhale, lift up through your arms. Reach down through your feet, tone your belly, and then exhale as you hinge and fold. As your fingertips come down to the ground, step your right toes back. Lower down your back knee. Again, you might have a block handy. Reach down through your right knee or your right shin and come on up. So as you come on up, find that action where your right glute here it's alive here. So it feels like it's drawing your right hip forward. So if you feel like that reaching down through the right leg, we're going to create this long line through the whole right side of the body. So reach your right arm up. Again, left hand can be at your hip, or your left hand can be reaching down for a block or to the ground if that's there in your body. That can happen. Shorten your left side waist. Reach long here from the outside of your right knee. If you are a runner, Troy and I were just talking about that beginning of class. Right? My goodness, this is probably a really juicy stretch. Your left hand can be on a block. Your right side of your rib cage is reaching right. I'm going to grab my block here. Hand can always come to the back of your head too. Now, take your right fingertips and you're going to reach them to the left corner of your mat. So you're reaching across your body. You're taking this diagonal line. So you're still reaching your right fingertips away from your right hip. Now you're going to pass your right hand down to the floor to the ends. It's going to be like where your right foot would be if you were standing at the top of your mat. You could be on your fingertips or block can come over here underneath your right hand. Now twist to the left. When you twist open, sometimes even starting with a little bend in the left elbow to bring some energy to your back body and then lengthen it or keeping it bent. Left hand could be at your rib cage. Left hand could be at your left thigh or your left arm can be up. All beautiful options. As you exhale, bring your left hand down to the ground. Lift up your back knee. Now this time we're going to step back to a downward facing dog. So press your hips up and back. Feel that length through both sides of the line of your body. And then inhale, pull yourself forward for a plank. Lower your knees to the ground. Again, feel the front of your body reaching and meeting the back of your body. Can you keep the back of your neck long? When you bend at your elbows, lower all the way. Press down to the tops of your feet. Anchor, find your pubic bone there. And it's like you could create, for many of us, not all of us, but many of us are going to take some advantage here. A feeling like you could take your tailbone down towards your heels here some. And do you feel how that brings energy to the front of your body? Now use that energy in the front of your body to now actively create length in the front of your body as you shorten your back body. Yeah, there's Cobra. Breathing in, lengthening the front of your body all the way from your big toes to your breastbone. Exhale as you lower. Curl under your toes. Pass through the center here through tabletop, and exhale, hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Give yourself a breath all the way in here. Stay for your breath out. Do that again. Pressing strong, feeling that length in both sides of your body here, all the way down the sides of your legs as your heels reach energetically down towards your mat. Lift your heels. Walk yourself to the top of your mat. You might feel a little weight shift in your hands. If there's a little hover in there, you sure can. And then exhale as you fold. So you're shortening the front of your body and now lengthening the back of your body. You get the theme today? Yeah, the balance of short and long, front and back, side to side, top to bottom, all directions. Reach down through your feet, rise, grow up from the ground, lift up, feel the length all the way up through the crown of your head, and then exhale, pull your hands down in front of your heart. Release your hands at your sides, notice the length. How we hold our body, how we find vertical, oftentimes can set us up to energetically how we connect with the world around us, right? If I'm routed, if I'm collapsed, if I'm leaning forward, right? All of those postural adjustments that all of us take, all of us have really adaptive postural compensations. It changes our line of sight. It changes where our eyes land on the horizon. So can you allow your eyes to reach out in front of you? Yeah, beyond the screens that we've been spending a lot of time at. Inhale, lift up through your arms. Exhale, pass your hands through your center as you hinge and you fold. Step your left toes back. Now, as you lower down your back knee, rise up here as you breathe in. Reach down through your right shin, activate your left glute. And again, we're going to take that side body stretch. So as our right arm comes down, again, there could be a block there, or your fingertips can reach towards the ground, or your right hand can be at your right hip. That's it. Now, same idea here. Left shoulder blade, it's like you're drawing your left armpit towards your right knee. Reach across your own body here. Now, take your left elbow to the outside of your right leg. Now bring your right hand on top of your left hand. Press your palms and now square your shoulders. So as you press your palms, you're taking your whole center back into the middle after we crossed our body here. Now you keep your back toes on the ground, or if you'd like, curl under your back toes and lift up your back knee. Yeah, press through your own hands. Plug your right upper arm bone back into the socket. That's it. Now, as you exhale, gaze down, bring your hands down to the ground. If your back knee is on the ground, just lift it. If your back knee was already lifted, you keep it lifted. Lengthen your right leg, lift your right toes, and spin your feet to the left. So as you spin your feet to the left, turn your left toes out. So you're just going to pivot on your own left heel. Bend into your left knee. Now take your fingertips and walk them towards your right foot. Yeah. So you're stretching again your left shoulder blade away from your left thigh. Yeah, that's it. You can also do this with blocks underneath your hands. So take your time, gather your need. Bend and unbend out of your left knee even maybe, and keep reaching your left shoulder blade away from your left thigh. Lengthen your left leg, bring your hands back into the middle. You're gonna lift your left toes and rotate in at your left foot. So your left foot's, let's say it's about 45 degrees or so. Turn around towards your right foot. So your right toes are gonna go forward. And you can always slide your right foot back, grab a block, bring yourself up out of your hips. There's some. Keep your right hand either on your ground, on a block. Mine are way out here. Let me grab mine. As you lengthen your right leg, pull up into the inseam of your right thigh. Your right hand can also be at your shin. Turn your belly to the left. And as you turn your belly to the left, you're doing it from your right foot. So as you reach down through your right foot, you're scooping the outside of your right hip, back towards the middle. As you turn your belly, allow that rotation to now let your left arm come up. Triangle from the ground up. Yeah, so your block can be on any height here. That's it, one more breath. Gaze down, bring your left hand down, bend into your right knee. Both hands are going to come to the ground and then step to the top of your mat. Exhale as you fold. Reach down through your feet, rise all the way up. Exhale, pause your hands in front of your heart. Again, notice the right side of your body, notice the left side of your body. Inhale, lift up through your arms. Exhale as you hinge and fold. Step your right toes back, lower down your back knee. Reach down through your left heel and your right shin, bring yourself up. Let your right arm go up. You're shortening your left side waist. Reaching your right fingertips towards the right, or you've got that bend in your elbow and you're catching the back of your head. And your left fingertips are reaching down towards the ground or to a block, or your left hand could be at your hip there. But keep reaching down through your right shin. Now that's it. Now you're gonna reach your right armpit in the direction of your left knees. You're folding into yourself here some, but you keep reaching. There's that big active stretch in the side body. Now you're gonna bend at your right elbow and catch your left leg, right? And at this point, right, your upper body here is turned to it's already shifted to the left. So that's that shift back. So plant both of your hands towards one another. As you press and you draw your left elbow up towards the ceiling and plug your left arm in, can you take your shoulder blades back towards the center of your body? So here your right knee can stay down. You could also curl under your back toes and lift up your back knee. Keep lengthening the back of your body, especially the back of your neck. Keep plugging your left hip back. That's it. Gaze down. Bring your hands down. If your back knee is down, yeah, take your time. Then lift it. Lengthen your front leg. You could take blocks with you, absolutely. We're going to walk our feet to the right. So now you're going to turn your right toes out. So you're going to shift to your right heel, rotate at your right thigh to turn your right toes out to the side, bend into your right leg. And as you do so, you're going to walk your hands to the left. Now, as you walk your hands to the left, you're feeling that reach from your right shoulder blade away from the inseam of your right thigh. And you can bob and weave in and out of this. That can feel really nice to unbend the right leg and then come back into it. One more breath here. And then reach your right leg long, walk your hands back through the center, lift your right toes, and pivot on your right heel to turn your right thigh inward. So your back foot is about 45 degrees or so, right? Nobody's coming around to measure it. So just notice where that lands. Now you're gonna walk your hands over to the left and pivot your left toes. So now your toes are facing forward. Now you could have a block, your left hand come to your shin. So as you now square your shoulders, you can always adjust your stance here. I'm gonna slide my left foot back. Think about your left foot planted. You start with your shoulders square, plug up at your left thigh. Now think about the outside of your left hip. You're gonna draw that underneath you towards the center, towards your pubic bone. You feel all the action on your left hip now? That is strong and stable. Keep now turning at your belly as your right arm goes up. Yeah. From your left foot, you are spinning open. Cool, huh? That's it. That's it. Reach down through your right heel. One more moment here. Gaze down, bend into your left leg, right? Let your right arm come down and lift up your back heel, plant your hands and step back to a downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward for a plank. Lower your knees down to the ground. Again, tone the front of your body. You even feel that little drawing down of your tailbone already, just a little bit, nothing extreme, right? Just a little bit of action. And then when you exhale, bend at your elbows, lower all the way. Find your pubic bone, shimmy around to find it sometimes. Press down to the tops of your feet. Again, feel that length in the back of your sacrum some, and now actively lengthen the front of your body at the same time that you're actively compressing the back line of your body. Exhale as you lower. Curl under your toes, press away the ground, send your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Now pause here again. Feel the length in both sides of your body. That's it. Feel the lift up of your hips. You can always find a child's pose. That's it. Let your head go long in the back of your neck. Now lower your knees. Set your hips back towards your heels for child's pose. You can walk your hands out in front of you. And again, now notice we've been talking about front to back, side to side, top to bottom. Can you allow your breath to also expand in all of those directions? With particular attention to that space on the backside of your rib cage towards the backside of your pelvis. Your diaphragm inserts into your lowest 6 ribs. It sits within there. So your diaphragm being this amazing, amazing muscle that is constantly in rhythm with what's going on within you. Not just with your breath, but with your pelvic floor, with the internal massage and rhythm that's going within your organs, the rhythm and the communication through your vagus nerve, a very important nerve, part of your nervous system that regulates the pumping of the brakes and the gas pedal, and much, much more. Can you allow the front side of your body here to be a little soft? Maybe you take your forehead a little back and forth on your mat. Bring yourself up here onto your hands and your knees. Take your time. Even if you want to linger a little bit more in child's pose, you totally can. Bring your feet off to the side and have a seat. And then lay yourself all the way back down. You might choose to take a block or 2 blocks with you. We're going to set up for a bridge. So as you do that, bend your knees. Now imagine when we were talking about there's an active shortening on one side of the body, a length here on the other. So in bridge, because it's the spinal extension, right, we're lengthening the front of the body. So here's where blocks, you might choose to use those as some support, or you might also stay with an active bridge, okay? Just listen and notice what your body needs today. Press down through your heels. Use your glutes to lift your hips. Feel the action of your heels downward. So you feel the shortening here in your hamstrings, the action in your hamstrings, the action in your glutes to lift up your hips, to find length from your knees to your collarbone. So you feel that action in your back body. Now, if you want to add a block here, give yourself a little support in that shape. Absolutely. It can be 1 block. It can be 2 blocks. It can be no blocks. If you're staying active and no blocks, go ahead and lower yourself all the way back down to the ground. Take your time. If you're on a block, you stay. You stay right there. If you lowered all the way back down to the ground, again, breathe in, reach down through your heels. Now this time I want you to come up on your exhale. So opposite of how we normally lift up. I want you just to notice the difference. Be because of the action of what happens in our pelvic floor on our exhale, it can be really interesting dynamic to explore. Instead of always being in autopilot and what breath we sequence in the movements that we do in a vinyasa type class. And there's reasons for other methodology to also find its way in, to stay curious and notice, where do you find your power? Where and how is it that you find space? Where and how does that allow you to feel aligned in your body, in the way that your body aligns? Now, if you are on a block, lift up your hips. If you were in that active bridge, you get to lower it down if you haven't already. Knock your knees here a little side to side. Now let your knees fall to the left. You could keep your feet staggered, or you could pick up your feet so that your thighs are a little bit closer to your belly. That'll lengthen your low back as you twist. So both they're just different ways to come into it. As we have blocks today, if you want to bring a block between your knees, you can, if that feels supportive for you. I personally love, it just takes a little setup to take a block between my feet and a block between my knees. Imagine that the back side of your rib cage on the right could reach down towards the ground. That your right shoulder blade, just notice how that responds to what's going on through the center of your spine. Now let's say you used blocks between your knees or between your feet. You could keep them or you could take them away. We're going to pass our knees back through the middle and then take your knees to the right. This is also, this setup with these two blocks also works really great with a bolster. This is really a great setup for anybody if you have any pelvic pain, if you have low back pain. This is a really great way to support your pelvis and your legs by just bringing a little space between them in the twists. Bring your knees back through the middle. Take your sweet time. You can take your blocks away. Give yourself a little hug here. Wrap around the front of your shins. If you want to pick your nose up towards your knees, you totally can. Or keep your whole spine on the ground the best you can. Now, there's options here. You can rock and roll upright, or you can roll to your side and find your way up. Whatever journey you get to choose. As you come on up here, take your left leg out long and keep your right sole of your foot towards your left leg. Now here's a space that maybe, just depending on your hips and your knees, maybe a block is helpful on the outside of your right thigh or underneath your right knee. Okay. Now, take that same idea, that rotation we just did. Reach down through your left heel. Reach down, you're seated in both sitting bones here. And if not, if you feel yourself leaning back, you might have a seat on your blanket. Okay. Turn your belly to the right. So you're gonna feel how when you turn your belly to the right, now it's active, right? You're pulling the right side of your rib cage back to the right. Now let your left hand fall where your left hand is gonna fall. It might be at your right knee, it might not be. It might be out in front of you. It might even stay anchored at your left leg. And that can get interesting because then you can use a little bit of press. Now we're going to take one more side bend, okay? So your right hand that's back behind you right now, you're going to either take it to your right hip, behind your head, or up alongside your ear. Now you're going to shorten through your left side waist and let your left hand Slide down either your left leg. It can be in the inseam of your left leg. Yeah, it can be long. All of it works, okay? So as you land here, again, hand can be back behind your head. And just notice how now you can reach more up through your right elbow. Yeah, sometimes that can be an interesting space to play, and then re-lengthen your arm or not. Now, we're just gonna play with a little dynamic movement here. You're gonna spin the right side of your chest down. So it's like your right fingertips are gonna reach out away from you again and reach down through your right hip. Feel that on the outside of your right hip stretch, just above on the side body there. Yeah, that's it. And now turn your chest from your left forearm, from your left heel, turn it to the right. Whew. Okay. Yeah, that's it. And do that one more time. It's like you're reaching your right armpit towards your right toes. Like you're gonna reach out for something with your right hand. Now reach down from your left heel or your left forearm or both and turn your belly to the right. Now reach up through your right arm, bring yourself back up through the center. And again, notice, right side, it's gonna feel a little different than left. Now reach your right leg long, bend your left leg. Again, take your time and set up as you need to with your left knee. We're gonna start with the twist. So you're gonna take your belly, and you're gonna turn the left side of your belly towards your left thigh. Now that can allow your left hand to go back to you in any place. Your right hand can land where it's gonna land. It could be at your left leg, it could be out here in front of you, or it can be at your right leg. I love using my right hand at my right leg in this twist because I feel really broad across my chest versus the reach. That's just me. I like to share the things I enjoy, but we all have different experiences in our body. That's why I give you so many options, because I like options. Now you're going to keep yourself in this twist. If your right hand is across your knee, you could keep it there, or bring your hand to your right leg. And you're going to slide here in towards your right leg to shorten your right side waist. Your left arm could be at your left rib cage, left side, back behind your head, and then you reach up from your left elbow there, and then reach long through your left elbow, if that works in your shoulder. Now let's play with that little dynamic movement again. So you're gonna bring your left armpit towards your right big toe and reach through your left hand. Now pressing down through your right heel, pressing down through your right forearm. Yeah, that's it, Tatiana. And then spin open at your chest. You keep reaching down through your left hip, and your QL will thank you, or it will have something to say. It will have something to say. And then do that again. Reach your left arm beyond your right toes. Even if they're not beyond your toes, you're thinking and imagining beyond your right toes. And then spin open. There you go. Press yourself on up. Bring both legs now out long in front of you. Reach down through both of your heels. You can bring your blocks over. It can be a great way to set up a little connection for your forehead to rest, or not, right? So as you reach down through your heels, energize the back line of your legs. So even feel like you reach down through your heels, pull them back towards your hips some. And then hinge. And again, you could sit on a blanket, and that's gonna help support your pelvis here some. So you can always add that to the equation. And as you bring your forehead down, maybe your forehead lands on your blocks or not. Okay, you have options. And again, finding now that back line length. From your heels, the back line of your legs, back side of your pelvis, your low back, along the back of your rib cage, back of your neck, all the way to the top of your head and to your eyebrows. Take your sweet time. Begin to bring yourself up. Then find yourself for Shavasana. This might be a time for sitting, for meditation. This might be a time where you lie all the way back down. It could be on your back, it could be on your belly, it can be on your side. It can be any way you want. It can be legs up the wall. Take any stretches, add any clothing. If you're listening to the playlist, pause that list, pause the music on your way down. Take your time, get cozy with yourself. Notice how the body breathes itself. Notice any lingering sensation in your side body, side of your legs. Can you keep that idea of allowing the body to breathe, not only front to back, side to side, 360 degrees. Considering what brings you life, what brings you energy, what do you pull from? What grounds you? What aligns you? What brings you back? What connects you to those beings, those things around you? What brings you healing? Those things that we know we pull from, we also give back to. This cycle repeats itself throughout time, beyond space. Whether we are in the same room together or in our own spaces, in our own homes. And to deepen your exhale some, wiggle around a bit or stay just as you are. And again, maybe you're staying just as you are. Maybe you start to wiggle your way on up. If you're coming up, maybe you take a moment there to pause and start or finish where we started. press your finger pads down to the ground beside you, reorienting back to vertical. Feel the length of the back of your neck. Feel the reach up through the crown of your head. Yeah, notice how tall and glorious your spine is. That's it. And connect your hands to your heart. Give yourself a breath in. Bow your head to your heart, honoring who you are, honoring all those things in your life that bring you energy and remind you of your greatness. Wishing you all well and peace. Take care.